There we go. It's working. All right. Who have we got in today? Tessa, do you want to give us an update on what you've done this week?
Sure. Good morning. All right. So this week I have been updating the temperature response in my program because we realized that we thought we were getting a two-dimensional array out of SunPy contribution function, a function of wavelength and temperature, and it does not give a 2D array. It returns a one-dimensional one. But it does supply wavelengths, so I was able to build what we needed, and I put that into a data table, which has been nice for making things run quicker, as far as like running it and then saving that and then rerunning as needed. I also set up an interpolation with the wavelength response, but I found that this is something that the mentors and I were speaking about yesterday, the other day, evaluating the wavelength response at discrete wavelengths that the contribution function specifically looks at actually gave better results in that it does affect magnitude in a nice, or in a good way, more anticipated way. So I think now I've been working on setting up a way for the code to search for specific ions using this function that are inside a wavelength range around specific channel centers instead of just supplying a list of ions. And I still have a question of this data table that I save. I can make one with I can supply it with SunPy when I finish the package, or I could not. And that's something I wanted to ask the team. Otherwise, I'm still testing some density things and working on documentation because there's only about a week left. And then everything has to be pretty and polished for a final submission. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Cool. Sounds good. So the question is whether you've got a data file
Yes.
that you've made, right? Like intermediate product.
Currently.
And how big is this data file?
Oh, that's a good question. 21 kilobytes is the last one that I made.
But that's for how many ions is that for?
That's for about 12 or so ions. I'm still making it iterate through and work. It would be more once we.
Yeah, it's going to be on the order of several thousand if we do it in the same way that SSW. If we include like roughly the same number that SSW does per, or like channel interval. So potentially several megabytes, I would say. The equivalent GenX file is like 500 megabytes, but I don't know that we should use that as a good benchmark.
Well, that makes it, that is many orders of magnitude too large to go into the Git repo.
Yeah, okay. Yes. I would say probably a good estimate would be somewhere around 10 to 20 megabytes. But even that
does this change? Does this file change with like AIA calibrations or is it static.
It
Forever.
changes if you change, like if you input a different temperature, or we're working on if you put on in a different density, then it would change how the ions are how they're calculated. But
Yeah, because it's just the contribution function for each ion within a given wavelength window, according to the wavelength response of the detector.
But the wavelength response of the detector is subject to change, right? Over time.
Yeah.
that too, yes.
That is where the problem lies, in that at the moment, the sample data mechanism we have could download the file and store it, but we don't have any way of versioning that data once the user's downloaded it.
I see.
So we would need to come up with a better way of handling download caching for data which changes over time, which is not a problem we've solved yet.
As it is, the user could make this master list. I could just put in a warning saying it will take a while, because I expect running for almost all the ions will take a substantial amount of time. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best place to start, I think.
Okay.
In your pull request, make it so the user has to calculate it themselves, and then we can think of a way of avoiding that later on.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is
that's
something I'd like to do. It would be good.
that makes it the most flexible for later on, is to just be able to do it, even though it takes a long time. Make it so that the whoever's using it can do it fairly easily.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. There's also the problem of the interaction with ChiantiPy, because right now, Tesla, right, your code uses some flags on the G of NT function that are exclusive to your fork of ChiantiPy, right?
Right. I have not pushed that, and I don't know if that will actually be implemented into SunPy.
It's hard to predict. So there's also this additional problem of either, do you want to modify your code so that it's consistent with the current upstream version of ChiantiPy, or do you want to potentially wait till a change gets merged for this to be useful to other people?
So the change in ChiantiPy is modifying the behavior of an existing function, right?
Yes, I've added in a plot keyword and made it to where all the plotting functions are optional. And so it will just run for multiple ions and not have to plot anything. But I could try and work out. Ken Deere did give me a way, or he suggested a way that would be less modification. I'm willing to look down that road. I just don't know how, if I can do that in a week. But I would definitely want it to be working. Yeah.
Have you sent the PR to ChiantiPy? You sent the change to ChiantiPy?
No. I can do that soon. I went through and ran into issues with I had branched, or I had forked instead of branched, and I just have to redo it all.
I mean, the easiest solution is for get it merged into um, CantiPy, and then we can just work off that. But
Right.
Um,
well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, there isn't many because you're not like adding a new functionality to CantiPy or doing anything else. There's not many other workarounds we can do other than like just version check CantiPy.
wait, what do you mean? Why?
Well, like if this gets merged into CantiPy, then our code is only going to work with version of CantiPy where this changes in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming that CantiPy has versions at this point.
Yes, okay. I suppose I was doing that.
I mean, it does, kind of. But yeah, you are correct. I would say that's the least of our problems.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to suggest really, other than we'll just work off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but all that to say, just so that this PR really can't be merged until that is satisfied. Which for the some code project is not a problem, but afterwards, once we're ready to merge this into SunPy at some point, that issue needs to be resolved. But I mean, as far as the self-contained summer project goes, it may not be the highest priority at this point.
Okay. Alex, have you got anything you want? It's an update.
Yeah, sure. Not. So again, I've been back on the tests. Been having some issues with trying to get working. I've moved away from home for a week, away from my desktop, which had everything all nice and neatly set up. Did have a problem with the meta dictionary class, which is meta class or map dictionary, can't remember, which is basically a case insensitive, also audit dictionary class. Had an issue where the constructor actually wasn't using the order. It essentially would turn it into a dictionary before the type of order dictionary losing the order, which then was messing up my tests. Stuart helped me to create a pull request for that. So that's current on there's pull request in the current build of some dev of SunPy, and at the same time I've also updated my implementation, which is taking that same code but made Quidus metadict object. But other than that, really it's just been a matter of grinding through tests, trying to improve the coverage can't my Windows version of Anaconda suggests it's a funny Windows bug, so I might have to try that on a Linux box, but I haven't got that far yet. It's reasonably good at which I've created quite a large number of tests, and as soon as Stuart helps me to get my GitHub working, then I can push some of my changes. That's primarily it. More of the general trying to get unit tests. Oh, and I started writing up some of the documentation as well, some of the discrete documentation. I already have the working reasonably well, creating some actual descriptive guides similar to the light curve and or map guides, and that's really
Cool. Thanks. I put the link to the PR that Alex was mentioning in the chat. If someone, people want to have a quick look over that, merge that in. It's a pretty simple change. Just try and fix or maintain the order of the keys if an ordered dictionary is passed into that meta.
a simple change that took an awful lot of faff.
It's nothing like a bit of multi-branch Git faffery. Okay. What else have we got in pull request land? Punya has done has got another pull request up, which is making the database display itself a bit prettier. It uses SunPy table to handle some nice printing to screen and displaying the database in web browser. So it basically creates an SunPy table of the entries in the table of the database, and then puts it to screen. Someone have a look at that. That's 1871, that port. If people want to have a look over it. It also adds methods to the actual database class to like print to screen in my Python session using SunPy. David, are you good to merge 1857? I wasn't sure whether you'd seen the final changes or not. Nothing is happening.
There are no tests, right? Yeah. Sure. That's good with me.
Yeah, no, I don't really know how you'd go about testing that. Like, without doing some seriously weird socket stuff. Cool, merge that. Yeah, merging things.
53 to go.
Yes.
Oh no, 52.
1867. Anybody want to have a quick look at 1867? This is fixes to how we handle the resample keyword argument from mapcube plot and mapcube peak. This should also be tagged as not 7 unless I've already backported it. I don't understand from modifying this code for the resample stuff in 1867. I don't know how or why it ever worked in the first place. I can only assume that the map.resample API changed at some point and this never got updated.
That is the reshape and the animation.
Should I say that again?
You're changing the reshape and the animation, or just the self maps any data? Oh, you okay? Yeah, sure. What?
I kind of realised that I asked people to look over the large number of review tag pull requests last week, and then I haven't done it this week myself. So, but we do have lots of pull requests that need reviewing, including 1836 would be a really good one to review. Jack's change of map nicknames, and it's been floating around a while. That is now passing fixed. I think an email to the mailing list regarding pull requests needing review might be in order. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about? I don't think there are any other pull requests that can be merged or particularly need discussing. Review some pull requests. Silence.
So essentially, what you change there is just units.
Sorry, what one?
Essentially, what you changed there was just to add the units, the quantity to the resample.
Yes.
So that means that we don't have tests, but check the resample needs units.
No, there are no tests for any of the map cube stuff because the plot tests can't handle animations.
No, but for the resample, we don't need the cube, right?
Maybe. No, so what this is
What I mean
is map cube specific.
No, because you're resampling the maps one by one. And-
Sure,
and
it's
the
in the
resample.
plot functions.
But the resample, why? No, it's the map resample, which before was not
No,
having
it's
a
map
unity.
cube. So in map cube plot and map cube, in map cube plot and map cube P, there's a resample keyword argument that allows you to downscale the image for display.
No, but it's map.resample.
Sure, that's what it's calling.
Which that doesn't have to do anything with plotting.
No,
Why?
but this is inside the map cube peak and plot functions, which do so.
I know, but resample, it has nothing to do with plot. It's just creating a map.
Resample itself, the map resample function has tests.
Okay, so if it has tests, why it hasn't been broken when units hasn't been input?
It was the map resample has been fine, but this is the map cube plot
I know.
functionality that broke.
Yeah,
I'm confused. I don't understand.
okay, because this doesn't have. Okay, yeah, sure. So if you work on this thing, that will just explode because you didn't have the units.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about? Shall we call it a day?
Call it a day. We could use
All
for
right.
the data. I
Well,
was
thanks,
looking
everyone.
For the just for the data, I was looking the that-data.com for what Tessa was saying before.
Hmm.
Maybe we could use that.
Yeah, that's worth looking into.
But well, it will be other day.
Doesn't even know JS though, so.
Do you want to add a node as a dependency for SunPy?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right.